Self-talk and visualization are the two keys to my success. I was able to visualize the end. So when I was 297, and I was all fat and out of shape, and I couldn't run a quarter mile, and I was drinking milkshakes and eating boxes of donuts, I visualized, man, how would it feel? So after I watched that show on Discovery Channel, for a brief moment, there was 22 guys that graduated. I watched this segment on TV about these guys going through Navy SEAL training. And I couldn't even, I wasn't a great swimmer, I was afraid of the water, all this crap, man. And I saw these guys just quitting. But at the very end, it says 22 guys, this commanding officer's up there and he gives this great speech. I was like, man, I wonder. So I started visualizing me being the 23rd guy in these dress whites, sitting there with these guys, getting that Navy SEAL, graduating this Navy SEAL training. I was like, God. So I put myself there. I was like, man, that's an amazing feeling. I put myself there at 297, not even able to do anything that these great men were doing. I said, man, if I could feel that, that would change my life. If I could just feel that. It lasts for 1 second. You get that certificate, you walk across the stage, and what's next? But I didn't know that then. My mind wasn't, I thought I'd live in that moment forever. So I said, wow, man, if I could just feel like them.
One gift I have is I have the ability to see the end before the beginning even begins. And what that means is I know that to get to the very end, I can see it right now. So before I went to Buds and I was losing all this weight and shit, I saw myself walking across the stage at 191 pounds, 'cause that's what I had to get to get into the door. I saw myself 6 months, a year later, whatever it's gonna take me to do it, I saw myself walking across that stage, getting that certificate of graduation from Buds. And I was able to be there at 300 pounds. And that feeling that I was nowhere near that feeling, I was able to put myself there 1,000,000 times every day. And that feeling of like, my God, that is gonna feel amazing. That's what made me suffer. That's what allowed the pain to be real and say, this is worth it. I want to feel for this next 18 months. It took me 18 months to finally become a Navy SEAL, to finally, just get through Buds. 18 months, it's 6 months. It took me 18. That's what woke me up every morning was, I'm gonna put myself through this much pain and suffering for a few seconds. That's all it is. A few seconds of joy. And it's so worth it, man. That's what people don't get. So I'm able to put myself at the finish line, even though I have no finish line, but at the finish line of an event before I even start the motherfucker and say, how are you gonna feel at the end of this?
So I went into my mental lab and realized, but I wanna be great, but I don't have greatness in me. So I had to create a mother that was great. And in my mind, I'm really big on visualization. And people may think it's all kind of bullshit. Believe what the you want. I don't give a shit. This is the true shit right here, man. I went in my mind, I said, okay, I want to look like this. I want to feel like this. And I want to have a mind that is cast iron steel. That is never dull. That is always sharp. That was the biggest thing I wanted. I wanted to hit obstacles that most people up, including myself, but I didn't waver. I didn't fear. I didn't run away. I just stayed and marinated in the fear, in the suffering. And through that, building Goggins, I will become Goggins when necessary. And I started to do these things on my own. I had my own training ground. I built a training ground. I wasn't Navy SEALs. If you go to Navy SEAL training not prepared, you're gonna quit. So I built this training ground on my own. And I started doing these horrific things that David Goggins couldn't handle. But Goggins started slowly coming up. I started putting that visualization of the guy I wanted to create. And in that water, when things got hard, when I was training on my own, Goggins would appear. Goggins would appear. When David Goggins would come up, Goggins would smack him down and say, no, motherfucker, we're gonna drag you through this. And that's kind of how it happened over a period of time. This man evolved. Goggins became the guy that can withstand all kind of torture and pain and keep coming after you.
And I visualized that. And I want to become the guy who can get off the canvas and look at somebody who beat the shit out of him, life.
Yeah.
I'm talking about life right now.
Yeah.
In life, even life itself puts their head down towards
Says,
David
"Oh,
Goggins.
shit, yeah."
This motherfucker is not going to stop.
Right.
So that mentality became what I wanted.
Nice.
And that's how it started, with that visualization of the canvas. And all I got to do is just keep getting up. I wanted to win, not like beat somebody else. It wasn't about that. I just wanted to go the distance. Everything in my life, when something got hard, I quit. If it was reading, that's where, I wasn't great at reading. I wasn't great at writing, so I just quit. I couldn't catch on as fast as you. I had to work harder than you, so I quit. I wasn't great at things, so I quit. I'm not good at this. Like, man, if I could just go that distance, that extra mile, to just go, just to finish. I want to finish. I want to feel victory. And victory for me wasn't winning, it was just finishing. So I said, you know what? If I could feel like these guys feel, it would change my life. But what I realized, the best feeling I had was when I was by myself trying to lose this weight. I had to lose it in literally less than 3 months. 106 pounds in less than 3 months. And literally, I started feeling victory just by putting myself in the battle. It wasn't about going to Navy SEAL training. It wasn't about being the 23rd guy in that chair. I started realizing, man, just by going to war with myself every day and putting these challenges and these goals and these obstacles, these insurmountable obstacles. So it wasn't about losing 106 pounds. Me losing 5 pounds was an accomplishment. Me losing 10 pounds and then 50 pounds. And then the more I did this, the more I gained confidence. And then the more I gained confidence, the more I realized, fuck these Navy SEALs, man. These guys can't do what I'm doing right now. I had no coach, had no trainer, had no money. I didn't know how to lose weight. I had no knowledge of what I was doing. I was just working. I was just sacrificing. And then through that, all these different tools started coming up. But I would have never found these tools if I didn't put myself in a very uncomfortable place. I had to really I realized I had to reinvent a whole nother human being within myself, because who I am wasn't going to make it. This guy is not going to cut it. So I had to be a guy who can take any kind of pain, any kind of suffering, any kind of torture, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I had to have the people who, I had to visualize everybody that called me. You had to be in a room of people like this. I had to make up these things in my mind, of things I had to overcome. And I started callousing my mind through a process, and it basically started with working out. It started with working out. It started with doing, like, if it started raining outside, for instance, my mind would say, that, man, I don't want to go run. If it was 3 o'clock in the morning, it started raining outside, my mind said, you got to go
Get up and go run.
You have to, because I was fighting this other person.
So I invented Goggins. I invented a motherfucker that realized we're not good enough. But Goggins realizes we're mentally strong as and we're going to outstrength these motherfuckers in the mind. We are judging ourselves against too many people. You have to judge yourself against yourself. And that's the one thing I started learning, man. This isn't a race against me and Rich Roll. This is a race against David Goggins and David Goggins alone. And once you can silence all that bullshit, all the outside interference and things that are attracting your mind to everything, you can then start to grow and realizing, I'm stressed out for no reason. This is my own little race. This is my own timeline, and this is how I'm going to run it. I had to work at all this shit. I had to overcome, and it self-disciplines everything. And if you don't have it, I don't look at you right, because I know you're capable of more. It's not discipline so much for me. It's all on you. It's all on you. The self part is what's big. We need someone to hold people accountable. That shit, man. That shit. We count on people too much to get us through shit. And we look to our right, we look to our left, we're looking for help. And if you can build that self, you can build that total accountability in oneself. And it's not about being selfish. I'm trying to create a better me. So hopefully people who are hearing this are taking it the right way, can say, I can run a mile. It ain't about running 205 miles, doing 4, being a city. It ain't about all that shit. Shit doesn't matter. I want you to see how far you can go. And that's all it's about, yourself. And that's where it all comes from. I believe in self-discipline, self-pride, self-motivation. No one has that self anymore. That self is gone.
We all look for toughness. We all want it, but we look for it in a comfortable environment. You will not find toughness in a comfortable environment. Those of you who are listening to this, whoever hear this, you will not find it. I was trying to look for it everywhere. The only way you find it is to drown yourself in a position where you're just out of sorts, where you can't swim and you're drowning. Where you're drowning. You're drowning in life. But you say, you know what, man? Dad, I'm gonna figure out how to backstroke or something. I'm gonna figure out how to, and then through figuring out all these tools, your mind starts to, when you quit, your mind does this, because you're out. Once you say, I'm not gonna quit, this is the 40%. When you quit, your mind says, we're done. So it doesn't expand. There's no expansion when you quit. When you say, F you, this sucks, I'm drowning, I'm miserable, I'm suffering, I'm broken, but I'm not going anywhere. What happens to your mind is it does this. It says, he's not leaving. So we got to expand. We got to grow. We got to figure this thing out. So then these compartments in your brain start to they have to work. They have to work. And then you start to engage parts of your mind that you never engaged before. But you can't engage it by sitting back in these nice chairs, drinking this nice water, talking to you, talking about what I want to do. That's where the 40% thing comes in. It comes in when you're in suffer mode and you say, I'm not going to quit. You're forcing your brain now to operate on a level it's not used to.
And then this is where that 1 second decision comes in. You forgot every reason why you wanted to be there. You don't care about SEALs. You don't care about any of this shit. You don't care about fighting for your country. You don't care about that gaudy gold trident that they put on your chest. You don't care about any of that shit no more. All you want to do is go back home. You want the warmth. You may want something to eat. You want your girl to hold you. All those things of comfort are there in that 1 second. And this is where people lose. So what I do in that 1 second, because we all think about quitting when shit's hard. But what you have to do in that 1 second is hard to process information during pain. Because that pain takes over and you can't think rationally. You're thinking about fight or flight, save yourself. That's not a rational thought. It's not a thought that's going to get you through hard times. Most people fail that 1 second. So what happens, what I do in that 1 second, and there's a bigger process to all this, but in that 1 second, I physically stayed in that water. Because if I get out of the water, I quit. So I physically stay in the water, but mentally, I'm on the beach with the instructors. And the instructors, it's cold outside, so they got these parkas on. They got their cup of Joe, and they're warm because they've already been through it. So now it's your turn to go through it. So mentally, I get back with them. I'm still in the water physically, but mentally, I'm back with them. I'm chilling. I got my parka on, and now I'm thinking logically because I'm warm now. Mentally, I'm warm. I've taken that 1 second. Let's not quit yet, Goggins. Let's think about your options. Where are you going to end up if you quit this shit? Where are you going to go? What are you going to say to yourself? Because you know you're going to get warm. The second you get out of this water, you could take a shower and you could be warm. And in 5 days, you could be out. So I start thinking logically. I calm my brain down because your brain just wants to get the out. Ring the bell, put your helmet down, get warm, and then you're really.
Energy's everywhere. But the thing is, it's so loud. That voice in your head of pain and suffering and discomfort and I don't want to do this is so loud that you're unable to really calm it down and say, okay, there's something here. It's a patient calm that you have to bring to yourself to say, I know I have something here, but that voice is so powerful that it just wants you just to, let's leave.
Right.
We're done. We're done. It spazzes you out and you want to go. versus saying, let's take a second. Hang on. Before we spaz the out, hang on. And in that moment, you can think clearly and find that strength out there for you. And these are the things you have to think about the 1 second decision. So that's what that's all about. It's about gaining control of your mind, putting things back in the proper perspective, and then saying, I really do want to be here. And I'm going to have a bunch of these 1 seconds through this 130-hour journey. And I have to learn to control these, because if I fail one of these 1 seconds, I will not be a SEAL. I will not be a doctor. I will not be a lawyer. I will not be whatever the it is. So that's how important that 1 second decision is. It's all about your mind takes control of you. You have to say, you, I run this mother. The mind has a tactical advantage over you. Why is that? It knows what you're afraid of. It knows your insecurities. It knows your deep, dark lies. And it starts to push you away from that shit. It pushes you in a direction that is comfortable. The mind controls everything. So what I realized was that when I was growing up and I was 300 pounds and I got all fat and I got all insecure, I realized that my mind kept taking me in this direction. When things got uncomfortable for me, when I was facing my insecurities, when I was facing my fears, my mind said, oh no, we have the tactical advantage. We need to get you, separate you from this feeling over here. Life's all about feelings. We want the happy feeling. We don't want that feeling of this sucks. Why am I here? And you don't have any, so you can't answer those questions, so you leave. I started realizing that if in that moment you can answer those up questions and you are now in charge of your brain versus your brain ruling you, that's where all that stuff comes from. So the 40% rule is all of that. You get to 40%, your brain says, we're done. Let's roll, man. This is starting to get painful. This is uncomfortable. So you sit down. You have to figure out ways, and everybody's different. That's how the book kind of talks about, like we all have these things about, 5 steps to this and 4 steps to this. It's a lot more than that. That's all bullshit. It's a practice that you have to, it's a habit. So if you know that at 40%, I'm feeling pain. At 40%, I'm feeling pain. That's where the 40% rule kicks in. Now it starts. Okay, I'm feeling pain. My mind's saying all this shit to me. It's saying, get out of here, run, flee. The fight or flight kicks in. Okay, we're done. We're not good enough. It starts telling you all these things. You start to believe it because the mind controls all. This is the time where you have to gain control back of your mind and say, okay, let me see if I can go 45%. And once you start giving yourself more and more hope and start realizing, okay, the mind starts to be, okay, what are you doing? We're supposed to be going right and you're going left. You start then controlling your mind. Start finding more in yourself. And then it goes from 40% to a lot further than that. But that's the start of it though. Get to the spot where your mind is saying stop. Whatever that is, you gotta get there first. And then that's when that shit starts to work for you. You gotta control yourself in that moment. The brain is the most powerful thing. The mind is the most powerful thing that we have. It's not your phone, it's not the computer, it's not anything, it's your mind. And if you can tap into that, you can come from the daggone roots of hell and become such a great seed. A powerful seed that can grow into some great daggone garden. And people don't get that. It's all up here. The power and the magic's up here. You're alone. You're alone. You may have a shrink you're going to, you may have a best friend you're going to, but there's 24 hours in the day where you're alone in this brain. And your brain is talking to you in all kinds of ways. And it wants to control you and pull you in these different pockets. If you can't control your own brain and your brain controls you, you got to tell your brain where you want to go and how you want to go and how you want to get there. You got to control it. If not, it's over. Once you take control of your mind, you start making decisions for yourself versus your mind making decisions for you.
Life's one big head game. You play with yourself. If you lose, it's because you allow life to get in your head. Whether you like it or not, from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, a lot of us are at war with ourselves. And within that war, you have several battles. Those battles are basically choices. No, I'm not talking about a war that you might find in the Coliseum. I'm talking about a war that's in your brain. That war exists because life has so many choices. Within those choices, you gotta make right decisions. But you know what? Yeah. When the alarm goes off in the morning, you don't have to wake up. Don't wake up, don't worry about that. When you're in school, you don't have that, man. It's too hard to study. So don't study. You know what? Don't eat healthy because you don't have to. So guess what? When you fail, don't blame your mom, don't blame your dad, don't blame teachers. Only person you have to blame is yourself.
Our minds are like a garage. And the garage, if you open a garage and it's all cluttered up, it's all up, you can't put your car in there. You got boats and you got kids' toys and shit everywhere. But if you organize that garage and you put everything in its rightful spot, you can pull that car in there. You can put 2 cars in there. You can put bikes in there. And that's like with the mind. People talk about discipline and determination and, repetitions and all this shit. Consistency. Why people fall off the wagon so often is because their mind is full of shit. There's no room in that mind for discipline. There's no room for consistency. They may do it once or twice, but then the mind takes over and that cluttered garage comes in, and then it's like a circuit breaker, man. The circuit breaker just overloads and it sparks. And our minds, that's our mind, man. It's like a circuit breaker that has so much shit in it, you keep unloading it, you can't put any more into it. So I talk about it in there, man, so much about clearing space in your mind so then you have room for all those discipline, waking up early, taking those, because they do mean something. But we don't get to that dark matter that is keeping you from clearing out that mental garage. If your life is not organized, and your life being everything around you, because it takes one little piece of an outside interference to clutter your whole mind. And people don't get that. Your mind has to always be clear. That's why I meditate 2 hours every single night, because I refresh, I reorganize the garage, which is my mind, every night. So then discipline's in there, organization, everything is in its right spot. So when I wake up, I'm ready to go.
So I got an email the other day. This guy's talking about he's struggling to get up, wants to go to the gym and start grinding early in the morning. I said, when I was 24, I had the same condition, man, had the same problem. So I started studying it. The more I studied it, I came with this crazy conclusion. I was just being a bitch. When I say bitch, it's not gender specific. It's a mindset. In Goggins, it means weak, soft, feel sorry for yourself. Get your ass up and lace them up. Before I joined the military, I hated the water, so I had to go practice. So every morning I wake up, I go to the pool. Before I jumped in that water, I put my toe in the water to feel how cold it was. Me doing that was my silent protest. It was me feeling sorry for myself. It was me being a little bitch. And I realized if you're gonna do something, anything in life, you better attack it. A lot of us are going through wanting to be better, wanting to find more. And what we're doing is we're putting our toe in the water of life to see how cold it is. We're not attacking anything. We're going at it half-assed. There's one thing for sure. A lot of us think we can rise to the occasion. Well, you can't. You fall back on your training. And if your training sucks, so will you. Stay hard. One of the keys to my success in life was I was able to see myself at the end of a very difficult task before I even started it. When I was 297, out of shape and afraid of water, I was able to see myself at graduation as a Navy SEAL. But as time went on, I kept on getting rolled back to day one. And every day it got longer and longer. So what I had to do was I had to take this big chunk and make it small. So I became the master of the one day that I was living. We have to do that now. We don't know when the end is coming to this. So we gotta master that one day. It may keep on getting pushed back day after day. If you master that day and want to be harder and stronger, you'll figure it out. We have so many tools
to put in our arsenal to strengthen our minds, to put those calluses on our minds for when we need them. So one of those great tools is positive self-talk. Positive self-talk works well, but you gotta put the work behind it. It's gotta be the truth. Positive self-talk has to be the truth. So let's say you're taking a test, hard test in college, but you haven't studied, but you have a positive mindset, and your positive self-talk going into it. Chances are you're gonna fail that test. Positive self-talk doesn't work unless you put the work behind it. It's only bullshit. Put the work behind your positive self-talk.
I get a lot of questions about how I stay in shape with all my travel. Here's one of my secrets. I have 10 minutes between sessions right now. So I got to my hotel room, got in my room, then we'll knock out some core exercises. Boy, we love to compromise our life. We love to say we don't have time. The body is truly amazing. It can handle almost anything you throw at it. It's the mind that is lacking. The mind, as I always say, is trying to find that easy way out. I was such in a dungeon in my life, and I feel like I was such in a hole with nowhere to go, with so many issues and so many things to climb over and overcome on my own. I wanted every obstacle and every person that ever doubted me to look like Apollo Creed. I wanted the people, whoever it was, people, obstacles, whatever, to look at me like this guy's gonna continue coming after me. I wanted what Rocky had. This ability to keep getting up. I don't care if I win. I don't care if I'm the best. It's not about being the hardest man in the world. I just want to keep coming after you. So through years and years and years of visualizing that scene of that guy just getting up, it's just a movie to some people. But to me, it became what my reality had to become. I had to become that guy who could run on broken legs going through Hell Week, who can endure the most pain, the most suffering. To get where I have to go, I'm going to have to be that guy. And a lot of people will never understand that because a lot of people just don't have that kind of mindset. But we all have it. I came from nothing. But the thing about it is, we all have the ability to come from nothing to something. But it takes that kind of spirit. Well, it's 11 degrees out here right now, and I'm about to go running. Like I always tell people, I can't stand, I hate it. It's 11 degrees. What's fun about running in 11 degree weather? People always ask me, why do I run if I hate running? Simple answer to that question. I wanted to be a Navy SEAL, and to be a Navy SEAL, you have to run. So things you want in life is not designed just for me. I want to be a Navy SEAL so they don't just take out running. No, it's part of the program, so I better get used to running, which is why I run now. You want to be a doctor, guess what? You got to study your ass off to be a doctor. That's not a lot of fun either. You want to be a lawyer. You want to be anything in life. It takes a lot of hard work and dedication, so there's a lot of things you're not going to want to do. So I hate running. It's 11 degrees, so guess what I'm going to go do? I'm going to go run, because why? I wanted to be a SEAL. That's part of the training. Don't get it twisted. It's not about flipping tires. I'm in Las Vegas right now and it's hot as shit. It's not about any of that. But what it is about is a lot of us give total control to life. We don't have any control of it. We just give all control to life. I do this shit every morning to prepare my mind for what life's gonna throw at me. A healthy body gives you a healthy mind. That's what it's about. So if you go into battle, you want to go into battle with the right mindset, the right gear. In combat, you wear body armor. But what we do wrong is we don't strengthen our minds. You got to strengthen your mind, take control of that. So then when you get out in the real world and they you up, you got protection.